We're back. Hey everybody, how are we? Did you guys miss me? It's nice. So, we are back. We are excited to return. It's been a busy summer. Things have been a little bit crazy around here because Christian with his busted up knee and all that stuff. So, Brady, if you want to pop a comment on here, then go ahead and let's see, we'll add you in. Got to have your settings public, got to be on your phone. It has to be oriented horizontal, not vertical. So make sure all those little boxes get checked. Can't have privacy settings too tight on your Facebook page. So we have a few things that we're going to talk about. As much as it pains me, I have to bring up some basic stuff. Hey, Brady, welcome.
Hey, how's it going?
Great. Thanks for joining me.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
So, guys, this is my good friend Brady Pesola, and he runs a nonprofit for veterans called Triple B Adventures. We're going to get to that. We're going to talk all about it today. We're going to get to the good stuff. But we are going to launch a YouTube channel because for those of you that do follow like regularly, I had some great content that people like Drew Hernandez, Vince Vargas, Garrett Schwindel, they were kind enough to come on my show and talk about some really, really great topics. And Facebook has taken it upon themselves to take them down. And I have a few friends that have been at me for months to start a YouTube channel and capture the video off of Facebook and transfer it over onto YouTube. I just have not summoned the time, but I've recruited my son. I have dumped this project in his lap. That is going to be launching at the end of the week, hopefully, because I don't want any more of my awesome content lost for people that volunteer their time and give their time to help other people out. Just for Facebook to say, oh, you dropped an F-bomb and somebody was offended and they don't really like the military. So we're going to go ahead and just take that content down for you with no warning, nothing, no advisory. I didn't get an email. It was just so tacky. It was just tacky. I want to be angry, but I'm very in control of my emotions today. But it was tacky. It was just really low class. So we are going to remedy that problem by launching a YouTube channel. We're going to capture the video and move it. So if anybody wants to look back on an archive later, then they'll have that resource to do so. All right, guys. Welcome, my good friend Brady. How are ya?
All right, how you doing?
Hanging in. So you've had a busy summer too, from what I understand. You recently did a cool event for some public speaking stuff. You want to tell us about that?
I was invited, actually sponsored, to go out to the National Speakers Association in Dallas. A good friend of mine, actually a CFO at Triple B Adventures, his wife is a public speaker, DJ Raza, his wife, Beth Zanice. She's a public speaker, and there's a company called Cigar Peg, which is a nonprofit, said, hey, we need a veteran that we want to sponsor. They sponsor a veteran every year that's looking to get a public speaking. And so I got drilled in an interview by Mary C. Kelly, who's a public speaker, former Navy commander herself, just a ninja of a woman. And at first it was a little weird, right? Because I was like being polite because she's got a PhD and stuff like that.
Right.
And then
We
she
get a
said a
little
color.
intimidated by those letters, don't
Yeah.
we?
And then she dropped a few F-bombs. I'm like, all right, bitchin', that's awesome. Yeah. So she's like, no, you're in good company. She goes, do you drink? And I go, no. She goes, well, it's too bad because we're hooking up with a company called Cigar Peg, and they are all about drinking and smoking cigars. I said, well, by drinking, do you mean like get drunk every night? Because no, but I do drink all the time. So,
I'm a
and she goes, oh,
Marine.
okay, cool. Yeah. She's like, all right, cool. So I ended up going out there to Dallas, and gosh, what an exciting event. Got to learn from a whole bunch of speakers that get paid millions of dollars to be in front of people.
Yes.
And learned a lot. And I've got people now even calling me up from that event as mentors, calling and saying, hey, how are you doing today? Have you thought about this? Have you done this? You know, just people pay thousands of dollars for this, and they're just hitting me up going, hey, how you doing? You know, it was amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yes, I think that most people do not know that fear of public speaking, glossophobia, is actually the number one fear, like in the United States. I don't know if the worldwide statistic, but it's the number one fear above spiders, above snakes, and any creepy crawlies, and all of these things. Fear of public speaking just cripples people. It's so funny to me because it's such a foreign idea to me that people would be afraid of doing the thing that I love doing the most. I don't know. Does that make me an attention whore, or does it
I
just make me enjoy teaching people? I don't know. It's a
well,
fine line.
I will tell you, it kind of stems from being an only child as a kid growing up. And so I was a drama nerd back in the day as a kid. I've done some acting, I've gone on TV a few times, and I like it. I like being in front of people. I like being both behind the camera and in front of the camera because I think it's just amazing. But um, I spoke at Clever Talks. My first actual public speaking event was last year, January. Chris Soriano lives out here in San Diego. Good kid, a little bit younger than me, and just one hell of a go-getter. Awesome guy. I know you and I spoke about him recently, and just a solid guy. And he asked me if I'd come on there and speak, and I got to speak to about 1,000 veterans, first ever time speaking in front of that many people.
How
And I spoke on,
fun.
yeah, I created a whole talk. My subject was surviving the civilian wilderness, which was basically I've taught survival for the last 7 years here in San
Uh-huh.
Diego. And so I took something that I know um, about being out wilderness and kind of parlaying that into a talk about transitioning from the military to civilian environment.
Wow. That sounds so cool. I would have loved to have been there for that.
Actually, there's a YouTube video
Is
posted
there?
up by Clever Talks. Yeah,
I
there's
might,
my whole talk is right there.
oh, I might
The
find
cool
that
event
link
we
and
had,
post it with this video because that sounds cool to me.
that was awesome. We had Frank Gripe from he's a former Ranger commander. He's I think VP of Spartan Race now. We had Donnie O'Malley there. We had
Great guy.
uh, Daniel Larick, I think that's his last name, from Grunt Style.
Mm-hmm.
We had the owner of Nine Line there, and Mark Cuban was there, which I shit my pants a little bit, but that was pretty cool.
He's just a guy, just like everybody
Yeah,
else.
and he was such a humble guy. I got to speak to him, and a
Mm-hmm.
real sweetheart of a guy. So there's a
Yeah.
lot of really cool veterans there that got to go up and speak, and it was a great it was a really fun event.
So actually, we just got the question from Scotty Byman, and I was going to move into this for your little impatient self, Scotty. Can you tell us a little bit about your time in the service, and then tell us about your transition after, like a little bit more time on that transition after? Because I think that that's kind of what most people are dealing with, and it's such a hot topic because it doesn't go away. It's so hard for everyone to navigate. I mean, some more than others, obviously, but I think that that's what most people want to hear about. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I did nothing special. I was a radio operator in an artillery unit in Hawaii, 1st Battalion, 12th Marines, and I was
Mm-hmm.
there from 2003 to 2006, enlisted in 2002, and we sat with thumbs up our asses in Hawaii at the height of the war. We didn't deploy at all.
Wow.
Charlie Battery deployed, I think once. They got lucky, um, and it was
I think
kind of
a lot of people would say you got lucky that you didn't deploy. I mean, maybe not within your community, but outside your community, people might say, well, you got lucky. You didn't have to deploy.
there's definitely a double-edged sword to it.
Right.
So I joined to be a radio operator. I like the idea of communications. And they sent me an RD unit thinking, hey, let's go. But it ended up happening. We didn't go. So I got out, and my first jobs outside were a life insurance agent, which was weird in the sense like, let me be honest, like life insurance is like a government regulated multi-level marketing, scheme, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
because
It
yeah, you're
is.
selling insurance to people who don't know if it's going to work because they're not going to get payoff until they die. So it's kind of
Right.
interesting. And
Well, and they can do it both ways. I mean, they can do the term policy or they can do,
whole life.
the investment and make sure that they do get some back, if they don't die on time or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's the thing people don't realize is like term is a gamble. You're gambling your life. Like, well, if I die in 30 years, I'm gonna spend $10 because term insurance is cheap. I'm gonna spend the next 10 years paying that if I don't die. But if I do die, well, you're not gonna know. And at least with whole life, you can get cash value back. Anyway,
Right.
back on away from that boring nerdy shit. So
Yeah.
anyway, so I became a life insurance agent. One was so I can learn how to talk to people again, learn how to communicate, articulate, and things like that. And then I did massage therapy a little bit, which is, I don't know, it was kind of cool. Did some acting, and then I got recalled back in. And so in 2007, I got orders to go to MOBCOM, start the processing for recall back in active service. We
Hmm.
sat there, and many of us, they ended up telling us that most of us are going to go back as admin billets, which many of us were like, the whole room was full of radio operators and infantry, all NCOs just hanging out there, just jerking each other off, going, "What are we doing here?" And
Yeah.
so, like, yeah, you're all going to be admin billets. You're all going to go back to the garrison billets, and you're going to be doing either MP shit or doing this or doing that. And like, no, 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 fuck no. So I ended up getting back to Hawaii. I called the private recruiter, and they're like, "Yeah, you're going to be an MP, but we can lube the dick before they stick it in you a little bit, the green weenie." I'm sorry. Am I allowed to?
No, you're fine. Say whatever you want because okay. So here's the disclosure. I always put NSFW on my videos. I want people to be wholly themselves. Say whatever you want. I curse. I think people find it funny because they look at me and they think, "Oh, you're so little and cute," and then they hear the f bombs start dropping, and they're like, "Holy shit!" But yes, please speak freely. Like say whatever you want, however you want to say it, because my mother doesn't watch. It offends her delicate sensibilities, and I think people know by now that I let people speak as they want to speak because we want to hear what you have to say. I don't want you censoring yourself. I don't believe in that bullshit.
Are you
It's not a
sure?
children's show. This is not a children's show, so people
All
be
right.
warned.
Okay.
But
So
yes, they'll
anyway,
lube the dick.
they lubed up the green weenie before he stuck it in my asshole to go back in and be an MP. And I will be honest with you, I was not a good MP. There's a different culture
Were
between
you the asshole
MPs.
MP?
When I say I was not a good MP, that means I was the opposite of asshole MP.
Okay, got it.
Well, let me ask you, how much experience have you had with MPs, or you just know from other military?
I only know from friends that talk about it. Like they say that there's like two kinds, the kind that actually do their job and the kinds that like fuck it off and like you don't want to do the deal with the guys that actually do their job because they do it really seriously. So I don't know. I have no experience. I'm not a veteran. I have like zero time with this.
Oh, okay.
But I find the
Um,
stories hysterical.
so here's there's a culture to MPs that people don't know. So coming from a ground combat element of being arty and being a radio operator to going into a whole different culture of MPs. MPs, they don't get to have the same camaraderie, the same fun, the same ass grabbery we do have in the ground combat elements because you're in the field fucking off. You're being you. You're having camaraderie. I mean, the worse shit got, the louder laughs got. Either
Yeah.
is infantry or arty, shit like that. But if you go into MPs, they always say there's 10% of shitheads in the military. Well, MPs see the 10% the shitheads all the time, and so they pull these people over. And of course, you get the guys like me who have no respect for authority whatsoever, going, "Are you done? Because you can go fuck yourself." Um, well, I got payback because they made me that guy.
Yeah.
So they stuck me on the gates at first, which was um, I hated the gates. I didn't like it. I didn't write a DUI unless my hand was forced at it, unless I was really totally like forced. Otherwise, I was just like, "Hey, can we get someone up here to give a ride, someone back, or whatever it was?" They put me on the road, and the first night on the road, I smashed the vehicle and I smashed the tail light reversing. It was the middle of the night. So they're like, "Back on the gates for you." I'm like, "This sucks so much." So yeah, and it was oftentimes like I pull someone over and be like, pull someone over like you gonna straight up, everyone's mouth is like fucking pogue. Like, all right, cool. Are you
Oh,
drunk? Yeah, you're drunk. All right, can you shut up? or I can give you a ride home. And oftentimes I'd give them a ride home, or I'd find myself like breaking a vehicle every once in a while, which is generally what I did. So I was not a good MP. Was
Do you think
not.
MP cats want to be that way, or is it just mindset inherent with the job?
Well, if you look at it objectively as like say an anthropologist, here's what happens: you get up in the morning at god awful early. You go do lineup, which is basically it's you go to the armory window, you get your gun, your 9mm, your bullets, and you load them like a child because apparently we're in the Marine Corps. We have to be children, load our bullets ourselves. And here's your gun. You get your gun, and you just go holster it. Okay, be careful. Don't shoot anybody. You know. Then you sit in a classroom and you wait for the lieutenant to walk in front of you and say, "Okay, here's what happened last night. Here's what's going to happen today. Here's the call out," and they get a roster. Okay, you guys are going on the road. Here's your car. This is the area you're going at. You guys are going on the gates because you're all retarded. And so you go on the gates or you go on the road. And here's the thing. If you're an MP, you sit in a car for 12 hours a day. That's it. You see people in the morning in your lineup. You go in the car for 12 hours a day. You deal with nothing but a bunch of
Dickheads.
retards. Yeah, dickheads that you pull over that just do not like you being there. And then you get, you go back at the end of the day. You give your gun. You sit and debrief. Wait till everyone gets back. And then you go home and sleep for the next 8 hours if you can, if you're not all hopped up on monsters because you've been drinking all day trying to stay awake in your
Trying
car.
to stay awake instead of falling asleep from
Exactly.
boredom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's the culture of MP life. So yeah, so MPs don't have that feeling of camaraderie, that brotherhood that we feel in the rest of the military because you're sitting in a car all day. You're
You're
looking for a place to
isolated.
escape and nap out. Yeah. There's many times I've driven past someone going, in the car, and it's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah.
So
That must make
that
it
was my
tough.
that was a mundane career. It was not a highlight. Like this is my career is not shit people talk about on Discovery Channel, right? So then I got
Not
out.
sexy.
Not sexy
Not
at all.
sexy.
But when I got out, I actually got out in 2009. So I did a year and a half. I did 6 months, and because they were going to put me on the road in the car because sitting on the gates sucked so much. Um, yeah, it sucks. So I stayed for a year and a half. They put me back on the road after I smashed him with a taillight. And then got out 2009 and decided to try myself at a police academy. So I went through college, put myself through as a police for the police academy,
For the post
and
training.
yeah, the post 6 months you can go through, and you're with a bunch of people are hired on. They all look at you like you're a non-hireable douchebag. Like, ooh, what did you do?
Of
So
course.
decided being a cop wasn't the thing. Continued to get my degree, and then became a firearms instructor down in San Diego. And then got done with that after 4 years. Started my survival school in 2011, and then
What took you to that? What kind of like made you turn left to like start your survival school?
so when I was in the police academy, we heard a lot about like it's called Astria out here. It's the sheriff's fly, and they go around rescuing dumbasses off the mountains because they didn't drink enough water
Oh
or
yeah.
shit like that. You can be a
Ill
mile away from your
prepared.
car. You can see your car a mile away, and these idiots are like passing out and spraying their ankles on the trails. And so,
Oh.
so I thought, you know what? Maybe there's a market where I can teach these people actual common sense in like hiking. So I actually started teaching like just basic stuff like how to pack a pack. Here's water. Don't bring Starbucks up off of your, because everyone goes, hey, Julie, let's go hiking today in our Starbucks in our black pants up Iron Mountain. It's 90 degrees. And they end up like dying.
These are my favorite Lululemons.
That's basically it. So
Yeah.
that's literally, so I started teaching people like basic common sense. And then we got into teaching land navigation. We ended up getting teaching into actual survival. And then I did it for free for like a while. And then, of course, my wife got pregnant. And she's like, so you can go have the fun you want to in the woods. But when the kid's born, you're not doing that shit anymore. So
The
I
shit ain't
thought,
gonna fly.
yeah. So I'm like, you can't tell me. When you tell me I can't do something, that's like the worst thing you can tell me. So I found a way
Yeah.
to do it by I started charging people. So I started charging
Hey,
them money.
now it's your job.
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah, last 2 years I've been doing executive protection, and so now I've been running my nonprofit full time, free. We know no one in my nonprofit gets paid, and then I teach wilderness survival. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. No one likes Lemon Kendra. Shut up, Scotty. Everybody loves Lululemon except me. I don't do that shishi bougie hippie chick shit. I'm not into the yummy mommy stuff.
Did you see the article where they found a cougar in the house up in Oregon?
Shut your mouth. Like a
So,
cat, like a big cat, not
like a big
like a
cougar.
desperate housewife cougar.
Well, the only reason I say that is because you're making fun of the hippie stuff. And if you read this, you're going to get cancer because the lady was talking about, like, so when I came inside, I looked down and we had a feline moment where she spoke to me and we blinked lovingly. I posted on my page, read it. You're going to get cancer reading this shit. And she goes, well, I think she listened to me because I do healing work.
Oh,
This was on Fox News, dude.
is
Like,
that right?
it's cancer.
Yikes!
It's
Kill
absolute
me.
cancer.
Scotty says it was in Oregon. Let me get to a couple of these questions here because they are asking. Oscar, it seems Oscar Diaz. Let me try and get back to your question here, Oscar. You asked it early.
Oscar.
Do you know
Oh, man.
Oscar? Oscar's having a
I know
struggle
Oscar.
here. You know Oscar? We had a little giggle. BS jobs. So, Oscar, my take from my point of view is hang in there. You know, it's 90% of what happens is how you respond to it. 10% is what happens. 90% is how you respond to it. This is life. This is life for everyone that, lives on the planet Earth. Shit happens to everybody. And this isn't me saying suck it up. This isn't me saying get over yourself. This is me saying hang in there. This is me saying figure out what you like and worry about the paycheck like down the road. You have to do what you love, especially if you're in kind of a headspace where you're feeling subjected to someone or something or a paycheck or a slave to it or a servant to it. Find something you like and do that. Worry about the paycheck later. Worry about expanding on it later. How about you, Brady? What do you say to Oscar?
What was the question? I'm not able to see the comments.
He's having a struggle here with his. Oh, dang it. I just scrolled down. Again, struggle is real for Kendra tonight. Dun, 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 dun. So some don't know me here, and I forgot that out in 2010, 2 years of BS jobs, 6 years for my AS, and starting my BS in the fall. GI Bill almost exhausted. No idea if I'll be able to get approved for I'm assuming it's vocational rehab.
Yeah.
There's lots of financial aid. Like my son actually just applied for a bunch of financial aid with his college, and he got approved. He surprised himself. This has to become your job when you're applying for. If your GI Bill is nearly exhausted, you need to find financial aid in the places that will offer it. Find grants in the places that will offer them. There is ton after ton after ton of money out there and available. The problem is people don't look hard enough for it. You've got to make it your job to find this money and ask the organizations for it. A lot of scholarships go untouched from year to year to year, grants and scholarships. When people ask for them and apply for them, it's really as simple as filling out forms correctly and submitting an essay or whatever it is they're asking you to fulfill in order to take that money from them. It's not that hard. The hard part is finding it. So make it your job to find it. Like, this is not rocket science. It's not that difficult. The hardest part is getting started and forcing yourself to do it. That's the hardest step here. So once you get past that, you're good to go.
I absolutely agree.
Sorry.
There's a lot of stuff out there for veterans that people really do not know. There's the Yellow Ribbon Program, the vocational rehab. There's so many grants out there for veterans as well. It's depending on what state you go to, you can also go to college for free. And the other problem is with veterans is they know it, they look for it. It's a matter of going out and researching it. It's putting down the Jack Daniels, which I know I have a hard time doing myself, and getting on the computer and looking for that stuff. Actually going out there, looking for it, finding it, but going to your counselor, seeking out other veterans. Hey, there's veterans that are career college students, man. I've seen it. There's a bunch of Van Wilders out there running around as veterans, and you can get a lot of information from them. So seek out your other veterans as well. But
Yep.
it's a matter of actually doing it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
go out and actually do it and apply for it. We know I don't like doing paperwork. Whenever someone
No
hands me
one
this and
does.
goes, dude, they say, here, fill out this information. Like, all right, maybe
Yep.
I'll
You
do it
make
later.
that face like someone's just put like a stiletto between your number 3 and 4 ribs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just go out and do it. Oscar's a good dude. He's a hard charger, man. And, bro, you just got to fill it out, man. Just go with it. I
You
don't know
really
if people
do.
know, but actually, if you started out with the Montgomery GI Bill and transitioned into the post 9/11, you exhaust the post 9/11, you still get your $1,200 back from the Montgomery GI Bill.
Yeah. See, there you go, Oscar. So this is very much a suck it up moment. I hate using that phrase for people that like I don't understand exactly what their struggle is, but I do know what it is to fill out paperwork. I do know what it is to fill out proposal after proposal after proposal because this is part of my work. Um, like people don't just magically know who you are, you know, in Hollywood and until you're like an A-lister and that's 10 years of work. Then they start inviting you to come and be part of their movie. People don't, in my industry, public speaking, they don't know who you are until you introduce yourself. So it's proposal after proposal, 40, 50, 70 proposals. Then I finally get a yes. And then I present my content and it's brilliant and they love it. And then you start your wildfire. But you have to get started. You have to suck it up and do paperwork that you don't like. It's tedious and boring and annoying, but you got to do it. You didn't use your Montgomery GI Bill first, and you should have. Well, you know what? Hindsight's always 2020.
I didn't even touch my Montgomery GI Bill. I transitioned right into post 9/11, and I still got 13 months on it left, and I've been using it for a rainy day. But I got some certifications I want to do here pretty soon to be able to use it.
All right. Tell me about your nonprofit. How did you start that?
It actually started when I was teaching survival. So I started taking veterans with me. Some veterans were like, "Hey, man, I want to go to the woods with you." And I'm like, "Yeah, cool. All right, let's go." And I'm sitting there underneath a pine tree, listening to the wind blow, hippie shit, eating a PB&J on a rock somewhere, and the guy's like sitting
Wearing
there
your
like,
Lululemons?
"So much, so much. I love them." Um,
They
we're
make
sitting
guy
there.
stuff now, from what I understand.
Hey, I've seen guys with the compression pants at. I'm like, "Are those tights?" And you know what, dude?
What are
You know
you
what?
doing?
Hey, to each their own, man.
There's no judgment here.
If they're walking through the gym looking at Rudy Reyes, I can't. If they look like Rudy Reyes, I can't say shit to them. So I'm
Yeah,
not.
you kind of buy
Yeah.
a pass at that point.
If you look better than I do in the gym, I can't say shit. You wear what you want to wear. I'll keep working out. Uh,
I would keep cranking those push-ups.
exactly. So we're sitting in the woods, and the guy's like, "Hey, man, this is kind of cool." I was like, "Cool, man." He said it did him a lot of good. It was a lot of fun for him, took a lot off his shoulders. And so every once in a while, I get a call from veterans like, "Hey, man, let's go to the woods, let's go hiking." Because out here in San Diego, believe it or not, there's a big mountain called Mount Laguna and Palmer Mountain. It actually snows up here. We go
Yeah.
hiking, dicking around, having a good time out there. So I kind of thought a couple years ago, like this might be a good idea, and I posted on, another Facebook group, and it seemed like everyone wanted to go out camping, a whole bunch of veterans, and my buddy Gino, who's a board member now, was like, "Hey, I think you're onto something." And so I waited another couple of years, and in this last year, I went out, met this guy at the property, and I said, "Hey, man, we got an event going on pretty soon. We call it the Modern Mountain Man Rendezvous, which is our fundraiser for Triple B. We go out and kill rabbits and skin animals and shoot archery, throw tomahawks, all that cool bullshit." And I thought, hey, you know what? What do you think about bringing some guys on the property, just having campfires and doing shooting? And the guy's like, "Yeah, let's do it." So the people I met at 3MR, we all came together as friends and kind of connected together and kind of threw out the idea, like, let's go with it. Let's get a camp out going. And we did. We had a fun time out in the desert, fucking off, just drinking beers, talking, and having mentorship and fellowship. And my CFO now, the DJ, he's a 60-year-old financial attorney. He's Italian from Boston. He's a spark plug. He's sitting there listening to some young buck sitting there going, well, I'm having financial issues. He goes, "Oh, yeah? Well, tell you what, have a beer, shut the fuck up and come into my office on Monday and talk to me, and I'll take care of it." And he did. He went in the office Monday, and he took care of his issues, and it was like, wow, that's really cool. So we had the fellowship, we had the mentorship, we had everyone together, and really thought there was something there. And it was, think of it like this: we're sitting around a bunch of veterans around a campfire, both men and women, just hanging out, having beers. I mean, how cool is that? I mean, it's back out in the woods. It's talking, it's having a good time. And people oftentimes, when you talk about beers and veterans, their asshole puckers up tighter than a snare drum. And the problem is people ask, well, why beers? Why beers and all this stuff? And I said, we're not a cure-all for PTSD, but what we have is instead of going down to, say, the VA and talking to some counselor who does not care, or maybe they do care, but really have no
Right.
answers for you, they'll throw some
Right.
pills at you, to treat PTSD, suicide, and depression, but the side effects are PTSD, suicide, and depression. And veterans are A-type alpha personalities. They do not want to open up and reach out. We're the first ones to say, hey, if you need help, let me know. We're the last ones to reach out because we have this little voice in our head says, suck it up, pussy,
Don't drag the team
constantly.
down.
Yeah, suck it up, pussy, deal with it, And
Right.
so you could go down and deal with that. Or you can go out to a campfire with a couple veterans and you give a veteran a beer or a glass of whiskey. Little guard starts lowering down a little bit, start getting a little honest, get some honest sauce in them, and they start
Right.
opening up a little bit. You start talking to somebody, say, you
Some
know what?
truth serum.
Exactly, a little bit of truth serum, and they start opening up a little bit, and we'll have someone start off. We'll talk about something that happened to them. Either what's the common issues in the military is PTSD, anxiety, depression, divorce, relationships, money, stuff like that. So someone
Yep.
open up, and you'll get some older guy sitting there listening, going, you know what, dude, I've been there before. Let me take you on my path and show you what I did to help get through it. And
Yeah.
so that's the biggest part of it. We call it campfire therapy. And then we go hunting, kill animals. We go fishing and go hiking. We just did a beach bonfire this last weekend. We had 40 people come out, which is fishing. We did kayaking. We did paddle boarding. We did some fishing on the boat. We did played some cornhole. So we had those cornhole boards donated
Yeah.
by All Star Vets. Kayaks were donated by Lend It, another veteran organization. So we had a lot of support with us from the veteran organizations going out and just having a good time.
It's funny. So I may not make any new fans by saying what I'm about to say, but I believe it wholeheartedly. It's really tough to get alpha males to reach up and ask for help. I wish that the stigma didn't exist as strongly as it does. I wish that they would find routes of asking for help that didn't make them feel like they're diminishing their pride or reducing their alpha ness, if you will. But there's something really profound to be said about letting them sit in an environment where their testosterone is safe, their testosterone is intact, and they can talk to people that completely understand them and perhaps have been through it and perhaps have gotten through it in an effective way and can then help the next guy down the line, with some help, with some mentorship, with some guidance. But I find that y'all are very protective of your space and y'all are very protective of that alpha shell. And it makes it tough when you have a lot of people around you that are like, I see you struggling. My God, just one short piggyback ride. Just let me effing give it to you. And they don't want it. So it makes it tough. But so I think there's something really profound to be said that you drag them all out to a campfire where everything is fine. We're totally confidential here. The campfire doesn't leave the campfire. No one's going to question your testosterone levels if you talk to us about your problems. I think that's incredible, actually. How effective. Like, I would have never thought of that.
It's a lot of fun, and I think part of it too is to add on to that alpha, that personality, that A-type personality. I think a lot of it too is I've been there. I've been down in my depression, my anxiety years ago, and the hard part about reaching out is that you have to explain to someone how you feel. It's not because you're an alpha or because of that. It's because you don't know how to best articulate what you're feeling inside to someone. Because as soon as you open up and you say it, you speak it, you begin to hear yourself say it, and you think, that sounds fucking stupid, man. What am I bitching about? And you
Oh, you
feel
got to
stupid
own
even
it.
saying it. Yeah, and so you feel stupid even saying it out loud. And so when you tell someone what's going on, there's a backstory. You got to try and make them understand how you're feeling because you want them to know. When you open up, you're trying to explain how you feel, and it sucks doing it because you're just like, God, this sounds stupid coming out of my mouth, and you're not sure if they're completely getting it or not. You're also reliving. You're creating the emotion and experience that you're reliving when you're talking about the issues.
Interesting. So you think it's more of a communication. Okay, so I want to try and piece this together because I want to understand. Like, I deeply want to understand. So there's two facets to this, and it's that I have to hear myself. And I do hear myself because sometimes I hear myself and I'm like, my God, this sounds horrifying. but I'm saying it anyway, and I'm owning it because it's how I'm feeling right now in this moment. And like my son, my oldest one, set me off recently, and I remember saying those words to him because I was flipping my shit, but I was at the very end of a really rapidly frayed rope. My workload was like triple, everything was falling in on me, and I was like, I need you to just fucking suck it the fuck up right now and get it done. And I hear myself being an absolute asshole. But you know what? You got to deal with me right now. Get over it, build a bridge, do what you got to do, handle it. And I remember saying it. I hear myself and I sound like a absolute asshole. But it is what it is. And it is how I'm feeling and how I'm existing in this space, in this moment. So you feel like that's part of the problem. And possibly the other part is I don't even know how to get to that point. I don't even know how to get it out.
You just don't even know how to say it. It's sometimes your emotions
Yeah.
are the most hardest thing to articulate, hardest thing to talk about, hardest thing to really get people to understand the way you feel, because no one's going to feel the pain that you do. I mean, every person's pain, every person's problem is very subjective. Whereas someone is upset about a relationship, it's the first time breaking up. Think of your son, the first time he broke up with a girl. Very painful, very emotional for him, if that was the case,
Yeah.
versus some veteran who's on his third marriage and lost half his shit. He's like, nah, it is what it is. There's worse shit to think about, right? So think like in every way, and most of us are thinking of ourselves. We don't like talking very much about our issue, mostly because the person we're talking to, who's another veteran, we feel that maybe they've done something worse in their life. Maybe they've dealt with something worse, and that ours is very petty compared. If I'm talking about depression, anxiety, talking to a combat vet is not something I'm going to do because they've been through rougher shit than I have, right? I'm not going to
Right.
open up and talk about shit like that. Meanwhile, I've had buddies of mine that are combat vets that go, "It doesn't fucking matter, dude. You're my brother. Open up and talk about it." Right? So we all have our level
Right.
of thought on. We minimalize our own issues compared to other people, but we know what eats us up on the inside. We know we should reach out.
Yeah. And yet these things keep us from doing it.
Absolutely.
And you feel like the next guy won't care. Jeremy, Justin, Buddy, you feel like the next guy won't care. Is that the case as well? That you feel like if you tell someone they may not care and then you have to face that?
Here's the thing: every person I've ran across that has acted as a mentor has always cared. But the problem is because it's we're projecting that. It's what we feel that maybe the guy won't care that we're talking to. Even though that person absolutely does care. They absolutely do love you. They want to hear it. They want to mentor you. They want to counsel you. They want to take you out for a beer and make sure that you don't fall to the 22. But in ourselves, we feel that maybe the guy doesn't care. Even though we know he's our brother, even though we know he cares. Inside, nah, this guy's got bigger fish to fry. He's not going to give a shit. I'll fucking suck it up.
That's fascinating.
We're projecting our feelings. We're projecting our own problems, our own thoughts of what we think someone else is going to think onto them, even though that's not the case.
I think that that's the case for a lot of people. I think and
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of it is due to, first of all, we're very self-involved.
Yeah,
As human beings, we're very self-involved. We think that, for lack of a better expression, everything is about us. Like if your partner is angry or upset, you automatically assume it's about you. Why are you mad at
yeah,
me? I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you. Everything is not about you. What if everybody at work was a dick today and I'm pissed at three of my coworkers and considering firebombing their cars? Like, it's that kind of thing. I'm not mad at you. I'm just mad. Can I just be
absolutely.
mad? Everything is
Yeah,
not about you, but we assume it and we take it on ourselves. So it's like that text thing. You write something to someone on a text and you read it the way you're feeling, which isn't necessarily the way they meant it or how they're feeling, but you're in an upset mood. So you read everything wrong or everything is charged up. So this is partly that. And we,
absolutely. It gets lost in context. I think the thing about veterans is we are our own martyrs. We are the worst martyrs out there. We
yeah,
are such martyrs. Yeah. Oh, yeah. When it comes to our own thoughts and feelings, we're martyrs. We'll suck it up because we know the other guy has it worse than we do.
yeah. Mike Barnow says, you don't think, it's not that you think they don't care. You don't want to be a burden on someone that may have their own to deal with. That's kind of part of
Absolutely.
what I was saying earlier, is that it's that whole, I don't want to drag the team down. And everybody has problems. I mean, this is kind of the bottom line. And assuming that you know more about someone else's problems, or that theirs are worse than yours, or that they're dealing with them worse than yours, is kind of a hefty assumption on your part. They might be dealing so. They might be getting the help they need. They might have a person in their life that they talk to all the time. You know, they might have a resource, and maybe they're cool with you talking to them because, wow, it gives them a break from their problems for a minute. Everybody likes to deal with everybody else's shit. It's really tough dealing with our own. I find that happens a lot. We always have great advice for our friends, but when it comes to like doling it out and using it for ourselves, we have a bigger struggle with that. Why is that?
I think it's just you hold it all in. Like I was saying before, it's hard to bring it out. You just hold it all in. You become a martyr yourself. And again, you either don't think the person cares, or that you're being a burden on them.
That's crazy. Pete Dvorak. She must have been imitating Brady. He threatens to firebomb my car all the time. Okay, so truth bomb. You guys are all gonna think I'm a freak. This is gonna trip everybody, and everybody can laugh and everybody can send me crazy mail. That's fine. I'm totally good with it. First of all, I never use that expression. That's number one. Number two, this is the second time I've actually spoken with Brady person to person. We've texted, but we've not like spoken person to person. Third, I am an empath, and I get people's words. I get their anxiety. It pops into my head. I don't know why that is. It's very strange. Sometimes things just come out of my mouth and I'm like, I never use that word. Like, I could bring my husband and my kids on camera right now and they would tell you she never uses that word. And I just felt like I needed to use it right now. So if Brady uses it all the time, that's kind of hilarious that I'm already
Actually,
like
don't.
getting your words. So why would
Actually,
someone say that, Pete?
I don't,
Is
because
that
Pete
Pete
runs Pete.
casting
So
aspersions?
I'll do a shameless plug. This shirt right here is because of Pete Dvorak. Pete runs a company called Alone and Not Afraid, which is a t-shirt company, which is an apparel company here in San Diego. And this son of a bitch decides to go take all his polo shirts that he's not using, embroider them free of charge, and donate it to Triple B Adventures.
How
Pete's a
cool is
good dude.
that?
Pete just likes to give me shit. So Mike Barnhouse came out to be on our team for the All-Star Vets kickball tournament. Was an MVP player out there. All the guys that are responding, everyone on there right now is responding. They're all friends. They're all very, very good friends. So they're all just like to give me a hard time, which I welcome it because they're awesome people.
You're your brother's keeper. Sometimes being the bigger brother seems like you got to hold stuff in. I think that that's true from time to time, but it's not an immutable fact. It's not a hard, fast truth of life. You know, brothers are brothers. You got to be there. Sometimes you got to be the responsible sibling. Sometimes you're going to be the sibling in trouble. Shit happens. Stay diligently on Buddy Watch. You're an empath too, Jeremy, Justin, Betty. It's so weird. I get my friend's anxiety. I read my husband's mind half the time. I don't always tell him. um, but yeah, it's funny. Brendan, plausible deniability. What's up with that, Brendan? Plausible deniability about what? Firebombing? All right, guys. Did we want to talk about anything else today, Brady? I think I covered everything.
Oh yeah. I don't know. Unless anyone else, I'm sure a bunch of. I see Mike Barnhouse is going to send a bag of dicks my way. I appreciate that.
Gummy dicks? Still
And
taste like
hey,
gummy bears.
and Diaz, you got my phone number. You can call me anytime, brother.
Cover
Diaz,
Me
is a good dude.
Veterans. Badass way to help us in crisis. What is that, Dan? Cover Me Veterans. Should I look it up and pin the link for it when I post this video? Maybe I will do that. I'll look it up and see if I need to pin the link when I post this video. All right, so we are pinning Triple B Adventures. What else are we pinning? I'm gonna have to watch this again. Firebomb. Plausible deniability about firebombing? Absolutely. We don't want any culpability for that. Mike Barnhouse, he's here for you, bro. I think he's talking to everybody. All right, guys, thank Brady for coming on. If you have any more questions, let's get them in now. Thanks so much, Brady, for coming on and telling us about your charity. you guys, when is the next Triple B event?
We're going to be in Big Bear next month, and we're going to do another event. We got to get together and create a date for it to make sure everyone's on board. But it's going to be next month. We always post it out on. We have a Facebook group called TBA Presents Hunting, Hiking, Camping, and Fishing. It's got about 3,300 members in there from all over the country and our allied countries. So we even have some limey bastards from England in there. So join us in there. It's a good time, lots of fun. And then we have a Facebook page. We post it there as well. We have Instagram. And I think that is it. Yeah.
I'm going to be posting all the links in the video playback, so you guys can just come back and visit my page and easily get the links to the organizations Brady's talking about. Triple B Adventures, the top one. And you guys can get more information by visiting the website or the social media pages that he has up on Instagram and Facebook. Is the goal of pinning to draw blood. Well, I don't really do it hardcore like y'all.
Who was that? Who was that?
Michael Donahue.
Michael Donahue's such a sweetheart of a guy, man. I love him to death. He's awesome.
He's a gentleman and a prince.
Yeah.
All right, guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate you for coming on, Brady. And again, we are launching the YouTube channel hopefully by the end of the week. So if this video gets taken down by the grace of the Facebook great people, we are going to capture the video and put it up on YouTube so that everybody can look back on it later. I hope everybody got something out of it. If you guys have guest requests or messages, please let me know, and I will do my best to get people on here. We don't have a super full schedule yet for the end of summer and then going into fall, so I need you guys' ideas, and just hit me up and let me know. Inbox. All right, thanks again, Brady, so much. We appreciate you.
I love that shotgun you got in the background there as well. Good for you.
That's my Massey.
Yeah.
Tactical shotgun.
So tactical.
Yeah. Tactical. It is actually, it's the home shorty.
I love it. Good for you.
That's my home defense shotgun. But yeah, we are, I'm very 2A. That's why I was a little bit late. So my tripod broke and I couldn't find a makeup color that matched my face because I've been doing so much training out in the sun.
Yeah.
That I'm like 18 shades darker than I normally am because I did a range day with Joe from Integrated Tactical and it was 107 out on the range. And then I did another day with SFAD, SEAL for a day out here in the valley, and it was 99 out on the range. So I'm getting a lot of sun.
As you can see, I'm getting a little red right. I got to call Scandinavian tan going on where I'm just nothing but red right here.
Oh, you don't tan?
So I've been out in the
you
woods.
Get red?
No, I just get red and stupid. Yeah,
Yikes.
I've been out in the woods playing around a lot these days, and so I just get so red. I think from Saturday's beach bonfire too. Super red.
Yeah, super red. Out at the beach and getting all those sun rays. It's very bad, the UVs. Can't get the skin cancers. Dan would stroke out. It was pretty hot, but I did not complain. I did not quit. I did not whine, and I sucked it up the whole day because I had to take a moment and think to myself that all my friends that have been through this did this for months at a time with my body weight on them in gear and kit. So I didn't feel very just in complaining about the heat while I was wearing shorts and a t-shirt with my rig on. That was it. So yeah, that kept me from complaining about it too much.
That's awesome. Well, before we go, I just want to say thank you to the Triple B team and all the friends and family and all the other organizations here in San Diego that help support. We have one hell of a network and one hell of a family down here in San Diego with all the different veteran organizations we're involved with. There's no such thing as competition to me. It's all fun. It's all fun. We all have one mission, and that is the veterans. And October 6th, shameless plug, October 6th, we have the Silkies hike on Oceanside.
Oh, yes. You guys should go. Be there. And that's Donnie's hood. So he's been known to show up for those.
Well, so Triple B Adventures and Irreverent Warriors is doing it this year together. So I'm going to be I'm coordinator this year for the San Diego Silkies hike. Up here in Oceanside. And we're looking to have 2,200 veterans. We're looking to, originally I wanted 5,000, but Oceanside was like, how about 2,000? And I'm like, How about 2,200? So we're looking to have
Ah, I
2,200
see what you did
veterans.
there.
Yeah. So we have 2,200 veterans. It's a cross-pollination between Irreverent Warriors and Triple B Adventures. We're going to be running it. It's going to be a great time all the way through Oceanside. So October 6th, we want to have every single person there marching in silkies. Shirts are optional, of course. So
Absolutely.
it should
That's
be a
my
good
favorite
time.
part about the Silky hike. I volunteered for it up here in
Yeah.
the city when Irreverent Warriors came to San Francisco and did the Silky hike there. And we volunteered to be part of the medic team. And it was so much fun. It was great. It was like a great, great day. So I encourage people to go out. I'm going to try and plug that again. If I don't make it to Clever Talks, if they don't invite me to speak, which I'm super hoping they will, because I feel like I do have something of value to bring to the community, maybe we'll try and get down there for that one. That'll be fun.
Sounds good.
All right,
Sounds
guys,
good.
thanks
Well,
again. Go ahead.
thank you so much. No, I was going to say thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking and good talking to you over the camera.
Absolutely. All right, guys, we are bugging out and going home. Brady's going to watch his kids. We'll see you guys. Thank you all for
Sounds
tuning
good.
in. Hopefully, we will see you again next week with an awesome guest. Ciao. Good night.
Later.